Hi everyone, I'm Drew Polinsky, Park Director for the Hudson Highlands Fjord Trail. We're back today for part two of our two-part series on the Hudson Highlands Fjord Trail's Visitation Management Toolkit. In this video, John Moss from ORCA Consulting will discuss recommended visitation management strategies for the Fjord Trail. Please go back and watch part one for an overview on visitation management and a background on ORCA Consulting. John?
Thanks, Drew, and thanks so much for joining us again. Now we're getting into one of the things that I'm most excited about, which is sharing this toolkit of visitation management strategies along the Fjord Trail. So first we'll start by just sharing with you what the planning objectives were this toolkit together. First, it's to relieve pressure on neighboring communities, and that's by using a combination of tools and trail operation strategies. Secondly, we want to help visitation to the area function a lot better in local communities, and at the same time, improve the experience of being in the park for everyone, for locals and for visitors alike. And then finally, we want to be able to improve overall capacity just to minimize these negative impacts. So that leads to the question, what negative impacts are being experienced? Well, we were able to learn about those. We did that three ways. One is we were able to obtain the findings from the November 2022 workshop and other events. And then if you remember, during 2023, you might have seen these A-frame signs around the trailheads and some other locations. ORCA conducted a visitor use survey, and that gave us a lot of insight as well. And then finally, it's feedback from residents like you that were shared one-on-one or at small group meetings. And gosh, for any of you who I may have had the chance to chat with during my time that I spent in the village of Cold Spring along Main Street, thanks so much. The input was extremely helpful in putting these plans together. So from all of that, we were able to identify existing community challenges, and they include inadequate wayfinding, lack of public bathrooms, overflowing garbage, traffic and congestion, limited parking, and then not enough staff to be able to manage and maintain those operational services. And I can tell you again, from all the times that I'd spent along the village of Cold Spring, I saw all of that, and I certainly appreciate that it's a point of concern. So we've developed three categories of operational or overall tools, and they include operational tools, communication strategies, and then partner collaborations. And if you remember from video one, operational tools kind of equates to those direct techniques that you learned from the first video, communication strategies, those indirect techniques. But because we're so closely linked to the surrounding communities, it does also take partner collaborations. So our first strategy that I want to share with you is how we'll use wayfinding signage. We'll obviously need it to serve both pedestrians, and then we'll be serving the motorists along the roadways. For public bathrooms, there will be 8 stalls each at Dockside Park, at Little Stony Point, at Breakneck, at Duchess Manor, and at the Notch Trailhead entry area. And then the nice thing about that, by the way, is that they'll be maintained and managed by the Fjord Trail staff. And that goes also with garbage collection. There'll be animal-proof trash and recycling receptacles at every trailhead entry and other key locations like pull-offs. And again, maintained by Fjord Trail staff. And then in terms of parking, we feel it's really important to make sure people know before they go where all of this parking is. So there'll be information about the Fjord Trail parking lot locations and space availability on the proprietary Fjord Trail website, mobile app, and digital roadway signage. And we'll talk a little bit about all of those tools in some upcoming slides. The key messaging that we want to convey is that there is to be no Fjord Trail parking in Cold Spring and that visitors should be encouraged to use the shuttle service and then also the trains. And then finally, just like with the toilets and with trash collection, the parking and shuttle operations are also managed by Fjord Trail staff. So let's talk about parking, some great news. So currently, the parking that serves the Fjord Trail areas is basically in two lots, and that would be 48 spaces in Washburn lot, and then 185 in the Breakneck area. We know it's very chaotic there, and so obviously this all needs to be addressed. Now, of course, we know that there are changes coming to the regulations for parking in Cold Spring, and also with the messaging that we have that no parking for Fjord Trail visitors should be occurring at Cold Spring. But the beauty of it is the lot capacities have expanded along the Fjord Trail corridor. So now we're looking at growing to 96 total spaces at the Washburn Little Stony Point area, 233 spaces in a couple of lots on Breakneck that would be at close to Breakneck Bridge trailhead entry, and then at a new area by Hudson Lane. Then we'll have 180 at Dutchess Manor, and looking ahead as Dutchess Manor also becomes the visitor center for the Fjord Trail. And then finally, 90 spaces at Notch, at the new trailhead entry at Notch. This brings us to a total of 365 new parking spaces. Now, we talked about the shuttle service, a little bit of detail on that. The shuttle service connects all arriving points, and that includes the parking areas, train stations at Beacon, Breakneck, and then down at Cold Spring, and then the trailhead entries along the Fjord Trail from Beacon to Cold Spring. It's going to reduce traffic and improve pedestrian safety along the Fjord Trail corridor, and managed by Fjord Trail staff. I'm excited about this. It's technology and how technology can also help people know before they go. So we have a proprietary app that will be developed for the Fjord Trail. It's meant to be a one-source tool for people who are visiting, both to help them plan and then for their use when they're on site. Within the app, they'll have access to shuttle tracking information. So it's great that we have the shuttle service, but wouldn't it be nice to know when the next shuttle is coming in and how far away it is? Those tools are out there, and they'll be brought to the Fjord Trail. And then also real-time space availability for each of the parking areas. And again, as this example illustrates, that information is also available, and we'll be bringing that to the Fjord Trail. So that's all electronic, but in case you didn't have the opportunity to before you arrive within the Fjord Trail corridor, there will also be variable messaging signs at the key entry points north and south for the Fjord Trail corridor that will convey that real-time parking space availability as well. We really want the visitors of the Fjord Trail to understand that the experience starts at the heart of the trail, and the heart of the trail is going to be in this zone that spans between Breakneck up to Dutchess Manor. This will be where all of the Fjord Trail visitor needs will be met. It will have the visitor center hub. There'll be a tri-lot area, which we saw in the parking slides regarding lots at Breakneck, a lot at Hudson, and a lot at Dutchess Manor. There will be improvements to the Breakneck Metro North train station, and then easy access to all of the amenities and services that you need to begin your Fjord Trail experience. We want all of our visitors to know and understand that great experiences begin at the heart of the trail. Now, thinking ahead, we have to understand that there may ultimately come a point where we have to regulate flow into either the parking lots or into the trailheads because demand may reach a certain point. So we don't want to take the ability to use these more direct techniques off the table. So we know that we have to think ahead to the possibility of things such as parking reservations or even timed entry to pace visitor flow into the trailheads. But this is a partnered conversation. There are so many stakeholders that need to be part of that dialogue. And certainly that will occur if it looks like that may be a tool that may ultimately need to be applied. Another partner collaboration would have to do with traffic reduction. And so we would want to explore ways that we can encourage people to use public transportation more, and not just for visitors coming to the trail, but even Fjord Trail staff and volunteers. And then carpooling. Carpooling will do a great way to help to pull additional traffic volumes off of the roadways. And then I also want to look at increasing Metro North service to Breakneck Ridge. We really have the confidence that the public will understand and appreciate that heart of the trail area. So if it turns out that there is demonstrated demand shifting away from, say, Beacon and Cold Spring, and it brings it toward the Breakneck train area, then it builds a stronger case to be able to have higher levels of service that typically exist, which would be normally just operating there at Breakneck on weekends and holidays. But again, that's a dialogue with the operators of the train, with the community, so many other agencies and services that should be part of that conversation. And that's it. So thanks for letting me share that with you, and I'll pass it back to Drew.
Hey, thanks, John. And thanks everyone for watching. Bye.